All right, welcome back. We are live here at Vicksburg Memorial Stadium. Glad you can join us here on this Friday night. TJ Mayfield with the call of this game here. Big district game as the Gators coming off a bye week. They take on the Provine Rams. They're 2-5 on the season, and this is their second district game. What a week for the Gators a couple of weeks ago in the bye week. We'll talk about that, and we'll talk about Provine coming up. Got an individual with 7 touchdowns that we'll have to deal with at quarterback as well as running the football. So we'll talk about that here at the get ready for this game here. Charles Edmond with Vicksburg High Coach Chris Lacey. Coach, how you doing, sir?
I'm great. Awesome. How you doing?
Man, the bye week came at a great time. I mean, with just that game over Florence, still the residue from that game still lingers. That's 2 come from behind wins, Coach. Natchez and look at that Florence game. Just it kind of reminded me of that. I think we talked about it during the broadcast. But you steal a victory from the jaws of when it looked pretty tough.
Oh, resilient kids, resilient coaching staff, resilient fans. I mean, they everybody was up for what was going on. You know, it was 1 second I looked and I was wondering if people thought it was over, and I looked behind me and everybody still was sitting in the stands. So that's the kind of atmosphere you want for a football game. It ain't over till the clock say 0-0. So I'm super proud of just Gator Nation as a whole for how everybody handled that situation.
What was the key to finding a way to pull that one out?
We practice it all the time. You know, we set up scenarios in practice where we either behind or we trying to play defense to get a stop, depending on what day it is. And those scenarios showed up on the field. You know, a lot of my college coaching buddies, you know, helped me out this offseason on how to kind of maneuver and set that up within practice, and it ended up working out for the best for us.
How do you set it up, and how do you maneuver it in practice?
You just randomize the situations that you see. Maybe it'll be a situation you saw on Monday Night Football where the Bills were behind, and you come to practice and you try to simulate that same situation because, I mean, football is a revolving door with the situations that show up. So we try to put them in different type of situations. Maybe it's start off left hash, 50 seconds on the clock, 1 timeout. You know, you just try to put the kids in that as much as you can, and they handled it well.
Well, your defense got off the field late, which set up your offense.
Yeah, and we got a young bunch over there, man. I think it's like 7 or 8 sophomores on their defense, and it's just a part of growing up. You know, I think I mentioned back in the Natchez game, you know, I prayed for adversity going into that game, and because I knew it'd show up at some point in the season again, and them being able to have that same type of scenario again. We've been here before, and they just showed up and handled business.
The poise that they showed, despite being down, it was a perfect storm of a comeback. It had to happen just the way that it happened with just enough time on the clock.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, the preparation that goes throughout the week and just the communication on the sideline and just everything worked out the way it was supposed to work out for the situation. The kids never put their heads down. It was always, you know, hey, y'all, we still got a game to play. And then coaching staff just managing it the way that the coaches managed it. I'm not going to lie to you. I wasn't nervous, but my brain was circling. I was under the weather a little bit. So it was a lot of that going on, just trying to be that way. But it showed a lot of manhood and toughness from everybody. So it was fun.
Well, let's get to that because you walked onto the field literally right at kickoff. I mean, how were you feeling? Because we were told that you weren't feeling all that well.
Yeah, I had food poisoning. I ended up getting it that weekend, and I mean, I didn't miss a practice. I mean, I was out of school for a little while, but I made sure that I was there. You know, sometimes you talk to the kids all the time about being tough. You gotta show it yourself, and I think some of that stuff just kind of had a toll on it. We had other coaches this year who been under the weather. We had kids under the weather, and everybody made sure that we still were at school and, you know, at practice to get it done. So I was sleeping in the field house. They had to come wake me up and tell me to come out that the game was starting. So I'm not going to miss none of it. You know, I got a good senior class. I want to be here for them. So I'd have to almost be going home to glory before I miss anything with these kids.
They have to bring you out on a stretcher.
Yeah, they have to bring me out on a stretcher.
I mean, it was just the way you walked on literally with seconds left before we before we kicked it off.
Yeah, we gonna be there. We gotta show it. And it was what? It was homecoming, so
Yeah.
can't miss none of that, man. We gotta be there. So everybody did what they was supposed to do, even me.
Well, how were you feeling after the game? Did the food poisoning dissipate after the final
Nah, it was
0?
still there. I still was feeling bad, but a win always kind of lift you up a little bit. I lost my voice. So I was trying to maintain that, but just the vibe of the kids and the fans kind of make you forget about it. One thing about that sideline, whatever you're going through in life or whatever you got going on, it kind of disappears within that 2-3 hours of playing ball.
Well, I mean, when you get in your element, you just kind of forget about the fact you may not be feeling well, but somehow, whether it's broadcasting or coaching, I guess it doesn't matter. When you're in your element and you love what you do, you get well real quick.
Right, exactly. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's like that with anybody, whether they're an artist or a musician or anything. Like like you say, when you're in that element, I guess it's that therapy for you, and I call it the God given therapy. You being able to take your talents and what you're good at and be immersed in it at a point in time, it kind of disappears from you.
Well, I tell you what, all the doubts about your Michael Maxey disappeared. I mean, that last drive, I mean, he put the ball right on the money, and I'm like, whoa, this Jermichael Maxey. I mean, you can kind of see the improvement to me in terms of putting the ball where it's supposed to be, but that final drive, he put it there.
Man, that Joker, he resilient, man. He is who he is. He understands who he is as a person and how he's made up, and he uses that to propel him and propel us where we going. You hear a lot of times he might throw interception, and people want to know why. Look, that's why he's still the quarterback on this football team. He's grown up a lot, and I'm proud of him. I had to get on his butt at halftime because I'm like, look, you done showed me the standard. Like, come on, raise up to it. We got another half to play, and he ended up doing it.
So from behind the scenes, just the kind of young man that he is in terms of dealing with the adversity on the field, off the field, because we don't know a lot about him, but he did grow up a lot in that last game. What is it about Jermichael Maxey? A lot of people might not know.
Well, first he raised right. I mean, he come from good stock. He come from good people. His mom, his dad. I grew up with his dad. So I know his mom. I've met his grandparents. Stuff like that. He just comes from good people. So he was already groomed to be a good kid before he even got to me. And just everything. He a student. He know that playbook. He could coach the football team offensively. He could be the offensive coordinator if he wants. Like he know it front to back. So he makes a lot of changes and calls on the field within himself sometimes. So he's learning. He has the freedom to do that. So a lot of times, something might happen. It might be wrong. It's because we letting him grow up. But on that last drive, he orchestrated that thing himself. Literally called some of those plays himself. So I'm super proud of him in the way that he does. And he's just a good kid, good student. Yes sir, no sir kid. There every day. Weight room guy. He does exactly what you want out of a quarterback.
Well, you got so much productivity. Henderson stood up. I mean, the defense stood up. When it was time to get it done on both sides of the football, when you had to have it, this kind of way I look at it. When you have to have it, whether it's a touchdown, whether it's a stop on defense, we got that set it up. The perfect storm just happened in which Florence was probably a play away, a positive snap away from winning that football game, and you found a way, you bowed up, and you figured it out.
Oh yeah, it's just well, at some point you gotta. Kids took it and they put it on their backs. They was like, Coach, we got it, we good, we gonna keep playing. Even the defensive drive, the second one to the last, they just, Coach, we finna go get the ball back, we finna get a stop. You hear offensive players, defensive players talking to each other like, we're gonna go get the ball back for y'all. Y'all gotta score. Like that's what you want on a sideline. I'm not too sure that last year I had the team built to do some of those things. But you live and you learn, and through the off season, we all created this vibe that we got now, and it's working out for us.
Well, could it be that a game like that, or maybe even the Natchez game, occurred because of what happened last year? Because you went through so many bumps and learned from that. The Natchez game was kind of a start, a jump start, and it just all kind of came together in a big game against Florence.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I mean, you go back, you look at the tape, you look at newspaper articles, you look at Facebook messages, you look at everything you look at to say, where do we go wrong? How do we correct this mistake? And then you go into the offseason and you fix it. And that was a priority, not just with me, but the coach staff, the school, the admin, whoever's involved in what we do on Fridays. Everybody kind of put forth the effort to fix what was fixed. And I think we've done a good job at it.
The one word that I come up with anytime you make a comeback, especially when it looks like you're not gonna come back, is poise. I thought the poise in Natchez, poise 2 weeks ago. I thought I didn't get a sense of any panic with this team in those situations.
I mean, I hate to go back and just dig up old bones, but like a lot of games we played this year, a lot of stuff just been self-inflicted. I mean, we could easily be sitting here right now undefeated if we a play here, a play there, a tackle here, a tackle there. We do this and that, and like even I want to give some shout out to those sophomores again, kids like Landon Prentice. The Ridgeland game and the Warren Central game, he struggled a lot with tackling, and then you get out there Friday, he tackling like in the NFL. So that's what I mean. Like that, just the progression of week. I was super proud of him. He ended up being second on defense with like tackles. So that's growth, and that's what you look for in a kid. You got to give them chances to grow, and that's what we done. So I'm proud of all of it.
How much you think your team grew up following that game?
Oh man, they was scared too. I think they had like a little fear because they knew like we up 21 something in the first quarter, first half or whatever, and they kind of looking at it like we dropping the ball, and they had to come out and fix it, and I'm proud of them for doing it. And that's life, you make a mistake, you also have some stake in going and fixing your mistakes, and that's just growing up as a man, growing up as a player.
I know we had the bye week last week, but after that big win, did something at least have a thought of, man, I wish we could have played last week just to keep that momentum going? Or did you feel like that bye week was needed considering maybe bumps and bruises, just trying to get healthy?
Yeah, I saw a lot of teams play, and I think the thing that hit my mind was Jadarius being banged up still for a couple weeks. Jermaine Gaines having little nicks and bruises, and it just gave us a time to get healthy and go back and hone in on the fundamentals. Bye weeks are good, if you use them right. So we went in. It wasn't about the plays. It wasn't about scheme or anything about that. It was just fundamental football, fixing that, and trying to get it because this next stretch is going to be kind of rough, going to Holmes, Cleveland, and Lanier, which Lanier is undefeated. Holmes is ranked in the state in Cleveland. So, and then even Provine, tonight, just playing them and, the elements they bring. They got a real, real, real good football coach. He a legend, in the SWAC and places. So it's going to be fun trying to, go against these guys.
Well, let's talk about the game tonight. Provine 2-5. They lost to Lanier 30-8. We're going to be dealing with quarterback Jaden Thurman, 6 touchdowns, 4 rushing, 2 passing. So I guess offensively it starts and stops with him.
Yeah, he the best player on that offense. He make the engine go. He do a lot of different things. Sometimes I seen him at receiver. Sometimes I seen him at quarterback. He kicks the ball. He returns the ball. He do a lot of things. Nice sized kid, good athlete. Nice arm.
Another Jarquez Hunter from the Showbook.
Well, that's a hard person to compare people to. But he does bring his own element, to the game that you gotta prepare for. And we haven't done a real good job with mobile quarterbacks this year. So it's gonna be a challenge in trying to maintain that guy and kind of, hit him where we need to hit him at to kind of affect him and get him off his mark.
Have you been able to put your finger on trying to at least maintain or solidify a mobile quarterback?
Just having a better pass rush. And again, I got 4 underclassmen down there on that defensive line who learning on the go. And they getting better and better. I mean, Beard came up big and Jalen Smith came up big in that last 2 drives of the Florence game. Just Beard couldn't be blocked. So just trying to get him to understand how to put that together for 4 quarters and, affect people in pass rush lanes and stuff. So those kids are learning. I know it's going to be a learning curve for them, but they've gotten better every week.
Yeah, and this is the last home game too.
Yeah, it is last regular season home game. We do what we supposed to do. We plan on being here for the playoffs. If we do what we supposed to do. So, but it being the last regular season home game, nothing's guaranteed for the playoffs and stuff. I told the boys, look, in order to ensure yourself you come back home, you got to take care of business tonight. And these seniors, this is a big one for them. Guaranteed playing in the swamp. You got to take every rep and every play. It's its own story and make sure it's one to remember.
This is, yeah, the final regular season game, and you don't want to lose on senior day.
Right.
And I've called games, which basketball games in which on senior day you get the flowers and you get the framed jersey and you lose. It's like heartbreak. I mean, I've done women's games which they're crying. I mean, I'm not saying that's the case, but there's a lot into senior day because like homecoming, you get the escorts and you get the pictures and all that comes with it, and you want to cap it off with a win.
Right. And I told him, I said, "God, we got types of tears that all tears aren't tears of sorrow. You got tears of happiness, tears of joy, tears of excitement." So I told him, I said, "Look, Monday through Thursday, you want to have those tears of pain from practicing so hard, and then when you get into the game on Friday, when it's over, you want tears of joy and tears of not being able to play this game on this field again here with your friends, but you don't want them to be tears of loss or tears of sorrow because you lost a game. So let's go ahead and get all that out of the way Monday through Thursday so we can cry for, I guess, joy after the game, and then that's what we want. And they all, I feel like we practiced that way this week, and we're gonna see when the ball get kicked off.
So keys to victory, coaches, we get ready for kickoff.
We got to run the ball well. Of course, we'll put the ball on the ground team. Jamichael has to play that second half. I need him to play that way tonight, the whole game, and then just play good defense. And what I mean good defense is run to the ball, tackling, and doing what you're supposed to do on third down, and still in some in special teams. Abel Gonzalez, I just want to lift my hat to him because in the past, the kicking game has been rough for us since I've been here at Vicksburg. But if he don't make those extra points, he don't make that kick right in, I think, the third quarter when I kicked the ball to get that 3 points, that game looks totally different. And, a lot of times they don't get all the praise. They get what they do wrong, but he did a tremendous job of putting where we needed to be with the kickoffs and the field goal. So I'm proud of him.
Coach, let's go get him.
Yes, sir.
Let's complete senior day.
Yes, sir.
We'll take this time out here. Coach Lacey will join us at halftime. Of course, there's a lot that's taken place over the last week with all the unfortunate incidents, how that impacts high school football going forward. Coach Lacey will return at halftime to talk all about that. We'll take a break. TJ Mayfield with the kickoff after this timeout.